No girls, huh? Just the two of you, huh?
Yeah, very interesting.
With all this mood lighting, huh?
Lava lamp.
Spanking.
Gummy worms.
Piss in the corner.
Other gay stuff.
Hello, Jasons and Melissas, and welcome back to the fourth and final season of Rewatching Home Movies, a weekly watch-along podcast where three friends and one guest break down the 1999 animated series Home Movies. My name's Tim, and I'm obsessed with home movies.
My name's Adele, and I'm a home movies newbie.
And my name's Marcin, and I've never seen home movies.
Hello, I'm David, and I used to watch a lot of home movies, and then some time has passed.
Home Movies Season 4, Episode 1, titled, Everyone's Entitled to My Opinion.
Interesting. Okay.
Original air date November 11th, 2003 on Adult Swim, written by Brendan Small, Bill Broaddus, Lauren Bouchard, and cast directed by Lauren Bouchard and produced by Jack Ferriolo.
You only live once.
Yeah, there you go. Synopsis for this episode. Brendan begins writing reviews for a movie website. Meanwhile, Mr. Lynch becomes interim principal. Interim.
Interrupt.
Interim.
I don't know why I've built up this episode because it's the final season, right? And it's the first episode, and we had Shore Leave, which blew it out of the water.
Sure.
Politics for season 2 was like,
It was okay.
Yeah, it was
Good,
okay.
not great.
Right.
First episode of season 4, breakneck speed. Pace was going. It was like,
Yeah.
it was
Seriously.
going. I almost didn't have a doodle. I was freaking out. There's one character I was going to doodle, and then like he was already off the screen. So,
Right.
But I did get one. I was very excited.
Yes. So breakneck speeds for these episodes. The breakdowns, I will say the breaking down of episodes are now taking me longer because there are so many background catches now. So many things. I had to pause. I had to try to read. I had to screenshot. I had to lighten. There's a lot going on in this episode, and I'm just going to say this now for season 4. I'm probably going to miss some stuff. I would not be surprised. There is so much going on in the background that I guarantee you had no idea was even happening.
Yeah, this is. I don't like the remote episodes nearly as much as I like the in-person records. But
Same.
like at least when we're doing the remote ones, I have the episode up and I can go frame by fucking frame with those. And I feel like I'm gonna need it for this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to get into this episode, plus our guest, plus so much more. But as tradition dictates, we got to jump into the creative corner, don't we? The creative corner is, of course, something in the realm of creativity we're consuming or producing. Now, I got a special guest to bring in the creative corner. Every single episode last season was a different guest, but I have bad news. Apparently, I signed a contract last season.
No.
Yeah, so please bring us in, Count.
Creative Corner. Doodly doo.
Are you telling me that he's gonna be here the entire time?
I think he's just going to stand in the corner and watch us.
Every episode?
It's a contract, dude.
His dick's just out.
Don't worry, it's fake. It's a prosthetic.
Put some clothes on.
No.
So, for this creative corner, we do have a guest, so we're going to keep them a little abbreviated. Who would like to go first? Or shall I?
You.
Oh, okay. So my creative corner, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think we've all heard of the game Pokemon Go. Not the biggest fan. I played a little bit when it came out, but I really wasn't feeling it. But I actually got into a different game that was very similar. That was, instead of collecting Pokemon, it was killing zombies, right?
How very similar, I suppose.
Well, it's the same premise as you're walking around. You have to encounter the zombies. It was just an excuse for me to get out and walk.
Gotcha.
Basically.
It's mobile.
This one was based on a very popular TV series about killing zombies. Don't have to name it because these motherfuckers shut that game down because they had too many cheaters. And instead of figuring out how to get rid of cheaters, they just shut the entire fucking game down. So I've been looking for something to kind of scratch that itch. And this dude shows up, solo developer, and makes this game called Zombie Streets for mobile devices. Basically the same premise. You are walking around, you are encountering zombies, you are killing them. It is an excuse to just get up and walk around. It scratches so many of the same itches as the game I used to play. There is like little clans and communities. Everybody's been really cool, and it's a super fun game. And it's an excuse for me to get off of my ass and walk around for a little bit. So the game is called Zombie Streets. Super simple app, solo developer, and again, just a good excuse to walk around and get some exercise.
Do they have the same cheating situations?
Not that I'm aware of. Like, so far, I've been playing it for a few days, and I haven't encountered anything like that. Usually, you can tell when there's some kind of cheater because of, like, leaderboard discrepancies, and it doesn't seem like we have much like that. Like, there are clans that are going after kind of, like, community missions, and everybody, by and large, is, like, in the same area. So it's not like, oh, this team has 1,000 kills and this team has 1,200 kills and this team has 1.6 million kills. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. It's just like, here's a bunch of challenges. You have, I think, like 24 people in your clan. You all just work towards the challenges, and then you unlock stuff and then kind of put yourself up against other clans. So
in a mobile game where you're walking around, the way that I visualized them cheating was them like walking up to you and being like, no, I'm gonna kill these guys. They push you onto the ground and they take your device. And I don't know why that's the only thing I can think of as far as cheating. I know it's probably some sort of hacking or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like a GPS hacking kind of thing where they were able to manipulate their GPS without actually moving, or if they were able to like actually manipulate in-game items and get items for free to throw off the economy. Don't know, don't care. I just know that one day I went to play the game and it wasn't fucking there. For a couple of days, I was like, I need to find another game like that. And I downloaded probably like 6 or 7 different games. We started talking. Did you know there was a Witcher game like that? Not around anymore. There was a Harry Potter game like that? Not around anymore. There was a Ghostbusters game like that? Not around anymore.
Damn it, that sounds amazing.
They were all good concepts, but just very poorly executed.
They're like, we didn't make enough money this time, so goodbye.
Right. Zombie Streets is pretty fun. It's what I like about any app is there's no ads unless you're like, hey, here's a reward. You want to double it? Watch an ad. But you don't have to if you don't want to.
I just mute them and usually turn my phone away.
Yeah.
So does this app, like, is there, like, items where you can pay real-world money and then they help?
I'm sure there is. Or if you just play the game, you would inevitably unlock these items.
Yeah, a lot of these mobile games, they have what's called, like, whales.
Whales?
Yes.
The 0.5% of players that will spend big money on these games.
So that's what, like, sometimes they shut it down if there aren't enough, like, any whales. And they're like, well, we don't have any whales here, so let's just shut this down. Then maybe the whale will try to get them to come in a new game.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's...
But this is absolutely a game that you can play and not put any money into and still have fun. There's no like time locks or anything that's going to stop you from playing the game. And it's a kind of game I can load it up on my phone right now. And from where I sit, I can throw out a couple encounters, fight some zombies and stuff like that, and then just shut the app down. But then when I'm ready to like actually go for a walk, then it's like, oh, it's on. Let's go. Like that's when I really start playing. So, yep, Zombie Streets. I highly recommend it.
Nice.
Woohoo.
Who would like to go next?
Me.
That's Adele.
That's me, Adele.
No, it's me.
Marcin and I sound the same. So my creative corner is a singer by the name of Sophia Acella. I actually sent one of her songs to Marcin. It was Oh, let me collect my thoughts because she's so good. So she has kind of like a darker undertone to her music, but she talks about a lot of like really important stuff. The song that I sent to Marcin was called "All of Human Knowledge Made Us Dumb." It centers around how like having phones at our disposal and knowing everything, but also knowing nothing at the same time is ruining us as a species. There's also other songs by her. Crowd Caffeine actually talks a lot about like AI and how this society is trying to make man the machine and make machine man. Oh, I just got goosebumps saying that. I'm sorry. And then a song called The Doll People, which is about like the objectification of women. And then there's also another song. It's called Everybody Supports Women, and it's about how women are all about like supporting each other until one of them is doing really well, and then all of a sudden the women hate that one woman because they see her as competition, and it's kind of like shining a light on that, which I don't feel like is talked about enough, because like we should all as people be lifting each other up instead of seeing each other as competition.
Absolutely.
But yeah, her music is very like dark but also very beautiful and haunting, and that's like my bread and butter. So if you're interested in that, go check it out.
What was her name again?
Her name is Sophia Acela.
You sent me that song, and then I don't know how it happened because I love the song. It was so spooky, and it was like I kind of had to sit with my thoughts afterwards because it's so real. Mm-hmm. But I saw her live performance of that song, and
so
she first off asked the crowd, "Hey, if anyone's okay with like contact, raise your hand like this, and if not, just like back off." And she's singing it, and in that the lyrics are something along the lines of like we lost our contact with people, and she, as she's walking up to her fans through the crowd, she's like, you know, touching their hands and like actually making contact with them. And that is where like art and actual community, actual human connection really just comes in, because it's exactly what we're missing in this day and age, is just one understanding but connection. It's wild that the internet has given us this way to contact people from across the globe, and yet we don't know each other. We can't show each other anything because things like Twitter has like made it impossible.
Right. Well, we think we have this connection, but I mean, in reality, the internet is just the best part of ourselves that we want people to see. It's not actually connecting with anybody.
Yeah. Or the worst parts of people that we don't want to see.
Yeah. It's not actually like human contact. It's the
some
illusion
people
of it.
have the literal world at their fingertips with their phones, and they just use it to spew hate and shittiness towards other people. It's wild.
Yeah. There's a lyric in that song that said everybody looks better when they're in the phone. And it's just, go listen to it.
Her live performance of Doll People is fucking crazy.
She always wears like baggy clothes because she doesn't want to be objectified. And she gets like when you see her live, like you can see like the rage behind her eyes. And she's only 20 years old. She's so young.
Damn.
It's just like, oh my God. Talking about her gives me goosebumps because she's just amazing.
So, next creative corner.
I will go next. So this one is something that I talked about on a previous episode. It wasn't like a creative corner. It was like the distractions episode where we were talking about it. But I think it deserves its own creative corner because it's something that means so much to me, and that's Taskmaster. I love Taskmaster. I've seen almost every series because I like stopped for a couple of years while they build up stuff, but I watched every single series on repeat like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It didn't matter. It never got old to me. It's such a good show. And the reason I love it is because it allows adults, very funny people, very nice people, respectful people, to just be children again and play games.
Be goofy.
Yeah, be goofy. Do just whatever you want. And watching it and watching people do these tasks that are just so random out of nowhere, and you see who they are on the inside. You see how their brain works, and sometimes they completely just fuck it, and they don't do anything well. I love those episodes where people are just like, "Oh, I'm panicking. Here's a pillow. That wasn't the task, but just leave me alone." I love Taskmaster so much. And there's so much lore to it, like just for the fact that like little Alex Horn created it because he felt jealous because he missed an Edinburgh festival, and he created this for the next Edinburgh festival as like a one shot, and then it just like grew legs and kept walking. One of the one shots they did is where they have all of the champions of like the first 5 seasons come on and do another Taskmaster 2 episodes, and one of the winners they had come back. And the way that they give you the tasks, they give you a little envelope and it has a wax seal on it. And they gave it to him, and he had just had a child. And Alex was like, "This is for your child." And the task was, have the best, most wonderful life. Your time starts now.
Oh.
It's just such a, and that's what I love about the show, because in America they tried it. They tried having this show, but because Americans are just so full with this capitalistic rage, and like the way that our comedy here is about anger and hatred and just trying to like pick at you, and that's funny here. It didn't work. It really didn't work. I think Lisa Lampanelli was on it, and she was just calling Alex the C word the entire time, and it just wasn't what it's not the spirit of what it is. Taskmaster is very respectful. They're very nice to each other. They care about each other. The comedy scene there is just something completely different than it is here, and that's why I love watching it, because it's people who clearly respect each other and clearly want to just have fun in a room. Even the pandemic, they had 3 seasons in the pandemic, no audience, and it was amazing. It was still so fucking funny. Yeah. It was so good. I thought it was going to get ruined, but it's not. It's such a great series. I love it so much. There's one for almost every country now. New Zealand has great episodes, Denmark, Sweden, like everywhere. It's like a world thing now, except for America, because we fucked it, and we, quite frankly, we don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
But we sent an ambassador, Jason Mantzoukas, to be on the latest series, and I know you haven't watched it yet. I've watched a couple episodes so far. He's so good,
dude.
The cast of this series is so good.
I watch it with Nick, and every season I fall in love with one of the contestants. They just become this like emotional support person for me, because you fall in love with these people because you're watching them, then you see how they tick and you see their humor, and it's just so funny. I love every single season, and I think I've even told you, I don't know how many times, that I really want to do a live show. Yeah. Like I really would love to because over the years I made my own task ideas. I wrote them down. I'm like, oh, I would love to do this. I would love to do this. And I would really love to do a live show, even if it was just one time. But that is my creative corner. I love Taskmaster so fucking much.
It's a great show.
You have no
really
idea.
is.
And the New Zealand one is even better. Like, I wouldn't.
Really?
Okay, it's a different story. They're very good. Both of them are very good, different ways. The little Alex Horn of New Zealand is Paul Williams, and I found his music. And a long time ago, I used to listen to a lot of New Zealand comedian podcasts and Australian podcasts, and they're all on the fucking show. Like Guy Montgomery from The Worst of Idea of All Time was on the 2nd season and fucking killed it. Oh,
nice.
It's so fucking funny. I love Taskmaster so fucking much, and if you haven't watched it, like, they're all free on YouTube.
Really?
All of them. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. All free on YouTube. Just such a wonderful time. It's just, you can just sit there and enjoy it over and over and over.
We should go back to the beginning and watch.
Genuinely.
I've seen a couple like random episodes here and there, and I just love British humor so
It's so
much.
good.
It's so much, because they'll say something like smart and funny, and the audience laughs and claps. Well, you can say that in front of an audience here, and they're like, say something racist. Yeah. It's just such a night and day experience, and I love it, and especially when I found it in the pandemic. Helped me through that.
That's when you found it? Was in the pandemic?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you've been watching it since before then. But...
Oh no, I found it in 2020 when I was just on YouTube, and then like they just started releasing the episodes online. I started watching it, and I fell in love like that.
Hell yeah.
Love that.
I want my boy Paul F. Tompkins on Taskmaster.
He would kill it.
So fucking good.
He should be the little Alex Horn of the American version.
Oh, I would love it.
Oh my god.
I feel like he would vet the comedians and people that come on a lot better.
Yeah.
The fuck did it last time?
Hi. Well, Taskmaster, great show. Very good creative corner.
Thank you.
Yeah. David?
Yes.
Your turn.
I wish I could have 17 creative corners. Because I already had like 2 or 3 planned.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, if the idea is to spread something that you think more people should be aware of,
absolutely,
then that's what I'm going to primarily focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I am a big horror movie guy.
Yeah, let's go.
And the one for me so far this year, it's called The Ugly Stepsister.
Really?
It's a body horror.
Okay.
From like I forget if it's Norway or Sweden, but it's through the perspective of Elvira, who is Cinderella's stepsister.
Wait, Elvira's in it?
No, that's the character's name.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the stepsister's name.
Okay. I
So-
was thinking actually Elvira.
Yeah, that's But so it's like, you know, the evil stepmother's there, and she's got the 2 stepdaughters, and then Cinderella and her dad, and they get married, and then the dad passes away, and they have no money. So like, there's a prince, and whoever marries the prince is going to get money. So the mom tries to put the daughters into like a school for like beauty and like blah blah blah, and the movie does a great job of examining like body image issues that women face.
Let's go.
Yeah,
What's
but
this
like
called?
The Ugly Stepsister. But as I've learned when I recommended Talk to Me, I do have to stress that the body horror is very gross. I'm not going to spoil the real bad stuff, but like, so there's the very popular thing of like, oh, Cinderella's shoe falls off. And then Elvira tries to fit in the shoe, and and that's like a 6 out of 10.
Audience
That's
at home.
a 6 out of 10 in this movie.
Audience at home, Adele immediately started waving her hands at herself.
Yeah. Like, if I could whisper to you what the 10 out of 10 is.
I heard it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's.
I didn't hear it. I just heard a table. And
You know, it's close enough. Yeah, close enough. It gets real gross. If you're gonna like. But with that said, there are elements of humor because they keep trying to modify her physical features. But like, the idea is that like, and also like, the prince is a huge asshole. Yeah, and it's like Elvira has this romanticized version of him, and she thinks that she's gonna have this fairy tale wedding. But Cinderella in this is like, she kind of understands like what's happening, and she's just like, so there's like this book of poetry that the prince wrote. And she thinks it's all this romantic stuff, and Cinderella's like, no. It's like, he's talking about trying to fuck you.
It's actually not super romantic at all.
Yeah. And it's like, so Elvira's like this naive, and then Cinderella's kind of like, hey, like, the world's not as great as you think it is. But like, there's also this stuff of like how it examines this idea of how men want women to act. And I don't want to spoil a lot of the stuff. There is, like the one that really got me too. And they try to surgically attach eyelashes.
Oh.
And the thing that really got me is the assistant of the doctor. It is very clear that she like lost her eye in her surgery. So while like the doctor's leaning in, Elvira's just looking past the doctor to this lady with the completely whited out eye, and then it like zooms in like in a Clockwork Orange where they keep the eye open. It's like, this movie, whoever directed this movie also loves Stanley Kubrick because it's a lot of Clockwork Orange, a lot of Barry Lyndon. The shots are great, but I cannot stress that like out of the body horror stuff, it does. There's some stuff where I'm gonna throw up.
How would you compare it to Talk to Me when it comes to like the comparison of the body
So
horror?
Talk to Me is violent.
Yeah.
It's violent, kind of like horror, body horror. This was like putting the needle through like the bottom, like, and then like, so here's the thing about it's in the trailer, but you know, she tries to get her foot to fit into the thing. And so like, I guess there's like some other stuff that's just real gross. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, real body horror.
Yeah.
It's I don't want somebody to watch it and be like, oh, that was messed up. I'm like, yes, I've been saying.
Yes, I'm warning you that.
Yeah.
That is a good creative corner, but also that's kind of a good transition into why I brought you on for this episode specifically. So, yeah, again, very, very good example of why I asked David to be on this episode specifically. Dave is my go-to guy talking movies, and I love it because I'll watch a movie that sucks, and sometimes I'll talk to David about it, and he'll be like, bro, you know the movies I watch. That was like an okay sucks movie.
There are some real stinkers.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, are we ready to jump into this episode of Home Movies?
I thought this was the end of the episode.
Yeah. Are we ready to end this movie podcast and jump into this home movie podcast?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it. The first episode of season 4. Everyone's entitled to my opinion.
That's a great title. Now that
Such
I
a
know
good
what it
title.
is.
Such a good and relevant title. Well, this episode opens up Melissa and Brendan sitting in grass. Melissa's picking a flower to continue working on a flower crown. They appear to be mid-conversation as Brendan is explaining that www.moviewienerorwinner.com said Helium Buffoon was a bad movie. But Brendan thinks it was a great movie. Melissa points out he loves those stupid movies. And that's when Melissa tells Brendan that he doesn't need to say www anymore. You can just say the website name. Brendan pushes back and says, well, that's how you type it in. And Melissa says, yeah, but that's how you type it in. That's not how you have to say it. She knows it's a website because of the .com. Brendan continues he should write his own review, and Melissa says it's a good idea, but confesses that he probably won't do it. So that's when Coach McGurk approaches to ask them what they're up to. They say, just talking. That's when Coach brings up, well, there is a soccer game going on, and he's wondering if you'd like to participate.
I mean, he didn't just say that. He kept going. He's like, "Oh, you want some help here? What are you doing here? Are we good? Are we interrupting you?"
Yeah.
He was very passive aggressive
You want to
about
spin a tail? Regale us,
I don't
Brendan
know-
and Melissa.
I don't know why, but this is my favorite version of Coach McGurk. Just sassy and passive aggressive.
it. And then he gives up. And he's like, "All right."
Yeah. Well, it's funny because he asks if the soccer game is bothering their conversation, starts to get stressed out. Melissa and Brendan tell him, sit down and relax. Well, that's when we see a soccer ball get kicked near the coach. There's even a kid in the background, like, waving his arms, like, back to me. And instead, Coach pulls it over and sits on it.
And it's not a black hole brew that he cracks open. It's Spaz Cola.
That's right. He sits down and asks Brendan and Melissa what they think the school assembly is going to be about. Melissa claims the rumor she heard is that Principal Plum was fired.
I want to know for what reason.
Good question.
She probably threw a...
I was going to say, hung out with Coach McGurk in the parking lot too much.
I was going to
We'll
say...
get to that part.
She threw a microwave onto Coach McGurk's car.
It's retaliation.
That's insane, because I've been waiting for Plum to come back for a long time.
So
I
we
loved
only-
her.
We only saw her once then, yes?
I think it was
Twice.
twice. I think it was twice because it was voiced
Yeah.
by the same woman both times.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically 3 times she was in the parking lot. We just didn't see her.
Right. Right.
That piece of lore kind of just threw me because I've been waiting for Plum to come back. I was like, this is last season. She's
Right.
coming back, baby. She's
Right.
coming back.
Well, let's add some more lore to that because who is going to be the interim principal but Mr. Lynch?
Mr. Lunch.
Mr. Lunch. That's what autocorrect changes it to Mr. Lunch in my notes all the time.
That's right. When I'm trying to type about my lunch, they always say like Lynch
Right.
because I talk about David Lynch a lot.
Yeah. Well, McGurk says Lynch is about as qualified to run the school as this here soda can and claims he can say that because he's Lynch's best friend. Brendan says he didn't know they were best friends, and Coach clarifies that he is Lynch's best friend, but Coach McGurk's best friend is actually a tie right now between a guy he's talking to on the internet. He's from Sri Lanka.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. And another guy who's supposedly going to get him a free battery for his car. He makes his final point by saying that there is no way Mr. Lynch is going to be ... And we cut to the assembly where Lynch is explaining that he is going to be the new principal. Immediately, Walter and Perry correct him by saying, interim principal!
Get his ass.
So Lynch tries to explain what he's going to accomplish as interim principal, but his microphone keeps cutting out and giving feedback. And that's when we see McGurk sitting in the crowd, rubbing his hands together, saying, all right, Lynch, my buddy.
Wait, he said my buddy?
Yeah.
Buddy!
Buddy confirmed.
So he's like, oh yeah, he's my best friend. I can't wait to take advantage of this and just rule this school. But he's not. They're not friends for the majority of this episode until like the end, where Mr. Lynch is like, I guess we're here. Yeah, I guess you're my friend. All right.
I thought there was some sexual tension between them this
Right?
entire
A
episode.
little.
Right?
When he's like,
Yeah.
come here for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He puts
Turn
his-
around.
Turn around. He puts
Yeah.
his arm around him at
Yeah.
one point.
Let me
And-
pee in your plant.
And very interesting you say that too. Let's put a tack in that and maybe
right.
revisit that later on in this episode.
All right.
All right, where's the hammer?
Well, the next scene, we see the landing page for www.moviewienerorwinner.com. We see this week's winner is the movie Fluffy Attack, and this week's wiener is the movie Something Else. We see Brendan is on his grape laptop, not Apple, going over his movie review. He starts the review with, in conclusion, and specifies that, yes, that's a funny way to start a review, but as far as I'm concerned, there is no argument Helium Buffoon is a funny, smart, clever, hilarious, feel-good, high-energy tearjerker that takes us on a crazy, edge-of-your-seat ride through the world of balloon delivery guys, turns into a crazy world of buffoon delivery guys, when Jeb suddenly has to take over the business.
So, just a quick little thing. I used to be a YouTuber movie reviewer because I really liked the Nostalgia Critic. And the thing about YouTube movie reviewers, you don't have to know anything. No one questions you.
Yeah.
No, I used to just sit there and just like word salad onto a paragraph. I would like make a 3-page long script and be like, yes. This sounds great, and it's like it was nothing. I said nothing, and I related to Brendan this whole time because he's just saying a bunch of smart words to sound like he's reviewing things.
Yeah, and we'll go over a couple of his reviews later on too, because his reviews are very like great movie, but leave before the end because it was scary.
Also, when did Rotten Tomatoes come out?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so every episode in season 4 has commentary. And some of the episodes have more than one commentary track.
Oh, you're doing a lot of work this season.
Yes and no. The commentary track number 1 I listened to was Brendan, Lauren, and they had Ron Lynch on, who does the voice of Mr. Lynch. Another episode where Ron Lynch is like all over the place. They're doing bits, they're cracking jokes. I really didn't learn much from that commentary, unfortunately.
But it wasn't about that. It was about the friends we made.
It was
along
very
the way.
fun to listen to.
Yeah.
I took 0 notes as far as things I can tell you about this episode.
To answer your question, Rotten Tomatoes started in the year of our Lord 1998.
Oh,
so this would have
shit.
been a few years after.
Okay, I
Right.
was about to say that's kind of the premise of Rotten Tomatoes because like wiener or not, whatever the
Right.
fuck, winner or wiener, that's what it was.
Yeah, fresh or
I
rotten.
was to say the year of your Lord.
Hey, he's not my Lord.
I was gonna
Got
say.
him. But they do say in commentary that they're like, yeah, this is the first episode, I guess, where we like acknowledge the internet was a thing, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's never really been a thing, and now it's very heavily dominated. I don't know. I maybe got a vibe from doing this breakdown and just like this episode in general. Like I know from commentary of previous episodes, people have like to Brendan Small's face been like, "Oh, home movies. Yeah, I didn't get it."
Now the life of an artist, baby.
So I'm wondering how much of this like cynical reviewing comes from a place of like, oh yeah, we've heard these before.
Soapbox, just real quick. I don't listen to reviews. I don't read reviews. I don't care about reviews just because I've been someone who has reviewed movies and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I know for a fact. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
And if you watch a review or read a review before you go watch a movie, guess what you're going to be thinking about the entire time?
Very true,
You're not
yeah.
forming your own opinion.
Oh, I stopped reading reviews for video games. Because
Yeah.
I've played video games that people are like, this game is trash. And I'm like, why am I having fun then?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I keep playing it? That's so weird.
Exactly. It's so cynical, and there's so many movies that I just came away from just loving, and then, like, I used to be a huge fan of Nostalgia Critic, but he came out with an episode of Small Soldiers and just demolished it. I was like, you're fucking wrong, Doug. You're fucking wrong.
Oh, that movie came out on my birthday.
Holy shit, let's go.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Same, dude.
Tommy Lee Jones' most famous piece of work.
Absolutely.
I can't think of anything else he was known for.
Tommy
Except
Lee
maybe
Small
Men in Black
Soldiers.
3, not the first two.
Everything else is just a toy.
Yeah.
I used to sleep with Archer.
Yeah.
That's a toy in the movie, just so you would know.
Right.
I had the eye. I think they were Burger King toys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the eye had like suction cup things that you could like move because it was like a tripod with an eye thing sticking out.
I
Right?
had all of the Gorgonites except for that one.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
Combined.
one. And you know what? Eddie, when we were kids, stole my Tropicon. And he didn't tell me until we were in high school.
Oh shit! You better get that shit back.
Well,
Oh,
good
he
thing
threw
you're
it
not
away.
thinking about it anymore.
I
a good thing
also
you
just want to
forgave
say
him.
my biggest flex. 1 year for Burger King, they had 4 different Jurassic Park watches, and I had 2 of them.
Damn.
So, take a ticket, ladies.
Can I get one of those tickets?
So, I don't have the watches anymore, but
Then I'll give it back.
I'll describe them.
yeah.
I can describe them still.
You think I can definitely describe the two I had. One of them was like this, like it was supposed to be like a steel door, so it had this flap to open, which made like the purpose of owning the watch kind of terrible. Like,
Right.
half the time, the actual time was hidden until you opened the little flap. And then I had that brown one where it had this like liquid in between the screen, and it had these like little like bones, and they just kind of float around.
Oh,
Yes.
dude,
That's pretty
that's
cool.
dope.
Yeah.
That is pretty dope. All right, I'll take a ticket too.
Yeah.
God damn it.
They're cool watches.
Did you wear one on each wrist?
Flex, fucking flex.
I wish. I think I was so enamored that I'm like, I'm not gonna wear these in case they get scratched up. So they're just gonna sit on like my dresser.
Put
For
them under
display
glass.
only.
Yeah.
I like the idea you don't even order the meals. You just go to the employee and he comes out in the back with a trench coat. He's
He
like,
opens a trench coat and all the
Cool
watches
watches.
hanging down.
which one you want? Oh, I'm having a
That's
good time,
funny.
guys.
That's funny. Oh gosh. All right. Well, we have a top-down view of a parking
Cool
lot.
movies.
Yeah. No, this is my job. Yeah. We have the top-down view of a parking lot, and we see the Reckless Mobile drift into two parking spots. A teacher we've never seen before drives by and tells McGurk, "Hey, you're taking up two spots. You can't do that."
Was that the guy you tried to doodle?
Yeah, and he wasn't here very long, so I was.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's so many features that going on. I couldn't get that." And he's got like bald head, eyebrows, like hair into mustache, no beard,
Yeah.
glasses. I was like
Yeah.
zooming.
It's the sideburns into the mutton chops into the handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I got the top of the head before he was gone.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Do we see him again?
I don't know.
But his character design is so like
His character
purposeful.
design is great, and I don't know if you noticed, but when he walks away, his walk cycle is fucking fierce.
I was
Well-
looking at the top down. Just the Firebird has like chicken legs.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
the first time I've noticed. Oh, it is fierce. I just
Yeah.
watched his walk cycle.
Because Lynch he tells McGurk you can't do that, and McGurk says, "Why don't you tell the principal, Four Eyes?"
Ooh.
Yeah, and starts laughing, and he is like,
oh, he's got the hand on the hips. He's got a huge tie, by the way.
"Yes, he does." Very offended by what McGurk says, and then kind of sachets away.
I was also thinking the gloves on McGurk. I'm pretty sure this was the inspiration for the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. But I like to think it was. It's very cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Nintendo Power gloves. He's just got driving gloves, and his glasses are fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, the green glasses. McGurk's hanging out of his car just laughing at himself for calling that teacher Four Eyes.
He's styling.
Yeah,
Got
I do
finger
like the
glasses.
driving gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lightning bolts on him. The next scene, we have the science teacher, Mr. Fink, saying, "Didn't expect to use up the first 25 minutes of class answering one question,
Yeah.
but it was a very good question."
What was the question?
We don't know, but we see Brendan with a book called World's Hardest Question saying, "Oh, I got another question." Yep, real quick on the desk of Mr. Fink.
I wanted to add that, like, in the background with
Yeah.
the frog, it looks like the frog knows he's being operated on and is sad about it.
Pupils are looking down.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
What have you done to me?
He does look sad, but right under the sad frog, we
the
have a
gnome.
jar with
Damn.
a naked floating gnome in it. I think this is the most morbid gnome we've
Yeah.
had on the show so far.
He's just sleeping.
I didn't notice it, but during the episode, Google pointed it at and was like floating. And then I was like, oh my God, it's right there. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. It's right there, but there's so much going on just kind of in frame that, yeah, you're looking at the frog, you're looking at the Bunsen burner, you're looking at Fink.
Yeah, hand on heart, the second like this was open, the only thing I could see was like this part where it says Roy. That's all I could see for the whole time. And then also this mushroom that isn't a mushroom.
Well, I thought that was a mushroom too.
yeah, it's a beaker on burning and red liquid. Yeah, it looks like a mushroom.
That's funny. Well, this is when Coach McGurk busts in to ask Fink what he teaches. When Fink says science, McGurk says he wants to take his Bunsen burner because he wants to go burn some stuff in his office.
McGurk is the most chaotic Florida man I've ever seen. and he should not have any power at all, none whatsoever. There's plenty of people that if they were given power, they could be the nicest people, but if they've been given power, it's a bad situation.
McGurk just invented Rocket League right there. Did you see that? There's a soccer ball on the ground, and McGurk just drives in and hits it with his car. And Rocket League was born.
Oh, I really feel.
Yeah. Drive, Rocket League.
Wow.
This
They're
episode's
inspiring
yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
This scene that we just have where he just like drives right onto the soccer field, I simultaneously hate him and feel for him in the same breath.
Oh, yeah.
This also has one of my kind of little pet peeves. He peels out and they do the noise. But
Yeah.
It's like, that's just rubber on asphalt.
And he's in the grass right now.
Yeah, he's on the grass. It's like,
Oh, sound design.
I was gonna say, as someone
got you.
someone who does sound design, stop talking about it. pretend like it's on grass, okay?
He put down some concrete real quick before.
The amount of times I'm editing Puzzle Valley and I've used the same metal sound effect in the episode like 12 times, and I'm just praying no one notices. It's like stop.
They will now.
you know who takes the like sound design real seriously is like Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
And somebody called him out that they heard like a something northeastern loon in Nosferatu. And they're just like, hey, Robert Eggers, you're supposed to be looking out for this stuff. Because like apparently when they were making The Witch, he wanted to use the actual kind of candle technology they had at the time.
Yeah.
But like the light design guys are like, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
No one's gonna know. And then he talked about it, so now people know. It's not people are looking for like the most obscure things about Robert Eggers, and they're like, hey, that loon isn't native to where you're filming in England, Eggers. You're supposed to be on top of this stuff.
Which movie was that?
That was the latest one, Nosferatu. It's the right when they're in that cemetery and there's like a loon and you can't even hear it unless you're looking for it.
I thought you were talking about the candle, the candle movie.
The candle was in The Witch.
I've seen The Vivitch, but I've never seen The Witch.
Marcin.
Adele's little.
It's a good joke, Adele.
Yeah, listen to this guy. Listen to him. Why don't we have him on every
I was
episode?
just going to say, Marcin's like, could we just have David on every episode to talk about movies and say my jokes are good?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
it was funny.
Thank you.
So the third scene of McGurk's Rebellion shows a bunch of kids waiting on an empty soccer field. Coach drives up, invents Rocket League, says, hey, kids, no practice today. Brendan informs him, actually, we have a game today. And he says, so? No game today. I have to go pick up a brand new battery from my best friend who works at the automotive store. He gives a chuckle and a thumbs up as he tries to drive away, and his car immediately dies. He restarts it, salute, drives about 3 feet, and his car dies again. And then we finally see he's trying to peel out, and he's like, I told you! And then his car dies for a third time.
Like he's got his hand up, he's got his fist out, he's like, yeah! And it dies again.
Oh, man.
The thing is, I have had my battery die so many times in my car, and I've had it like charged and just jump started so many times by like the same people, and they have like looked at me like, just get a new fucking battery. I'm like, do you know how much a battery costs? So I felt him the whole time that in this episode, he's like, I need that free battery. I fucking need it.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about this episode is that McGurk is going through a thing, and like a bit continuously comes up, and it has a fucking payoff. Instead of him like, oh, I got this inner ear itch, and then we never hear about it again. Ugh.
Yeah, well, season 4, we're paying stuff off now.
Yep.
How do you like them apples?
I love it. I love it.
So they did mention a commentary. So the next scene opens with Shannon scratching interim into the principal door, or into Mr. Lynch's door over principal. They're like in commentary. They're like, oh yeah, if you don't have the voice actor, you could just use the character model. They don't say anything, and then it's like boom, a free cameo. You don't even got to pay the voice actor.
And we never see Shannon again.
That is not true.
Oh, he looked at me dead in the eyes and pointed when he said that.
You know my policy about telling you when characters are never coming back again.
Your policy is you look behind you to see if editor Tim is running at you.
So inside the office, we see Lynch explaining to McGurk that he can't go around wreaking havoc in his name like this. Coach sarcastically asks him, what are you going to do, punish me? Make me stand in the corner? Call my daddy? He even asked Lynch if he's going to spank him and bends over. A quick background catch here. We see Lynch's cat costume from Coffins and Cradles and what appears to be like a display case.
Yeah.
Is that cat dog?
Hey, I think it's just cat. I don't see a dog.
Yeah.
Is that a cape or is that a tree and he's hanging on?
No. So what Marcin's referring to is there's a poster in the background. It appears to be like a cat with a cape is
But
what I'm seeing.
It does
here.
look like cat from
It
Cat
does
Dog.
look like the cat from Cat,
Cat
Dog.
dog.
Cat Dog.
I think he really wants Lynch to spank him.
I think he's like, what, you're going to put me in a corner?
I'm telling you.
You're going to call daddy?
You gonna call me daddy?
You know what McGurk is? He's a B-E-M, bum.
I'm telling you, the sexual tension between them in this episode is palpable.
Oh, wait, what did it say? I'm going back, sorry.
You're
But,
fine.
yeah,
What did
but
what say?
continue. It said the poster in the background has something. Also, there's a cat clock in here.
Yeah, there is a cat clock in there, which is on brand for Lynch.
Kitty power! It says kitty power.
It is a cat with a cape, so yeah, it does look like the cat from Cat Dog. I definitely see it.
Absolutely.
McGurk tells Lynch he needs to lighten up because he's the man now. You're the man now, dog. Even suggesting that they need to rob the safe at the school and go have some fun.
Oh, I didn't catch that during the episode. He says we gotta find the safe, and he moves a picture frame, thinking that there's a safe behind. I didn't catch that. Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Yeah. He even at one point suggests they steal all the fire extinguishers, take him to his house, and spray each other. Lynch begins to say that that's a prank that could cause the school to burn down. But as he's saying that, he starts laughing before telling Coach to get out of his office. So the next scene, we're inside the movie for this episode. We have Melissa as a therapist asking Jason's character, how can you not have an opinion on anything? Thank you for pausing on this.
And I was just saying, I love that they switched the aspect ratio.
I was gonna.
Yes.
I wrote that cinematic black bars. Yeah.
Great catch. They absolutely changed the aspect ratio for this movie. Now, I didn't really pick up on this. I wasn't sure if Jason in therapy is really supposed to be kind of based off of anyone or if he's just supposed to be like a middle-aged man in therapy. But when we all watched it together, the vibe I was getting was like the Sopranos episodes where he's like in therapy and talking to it. That's kind of the vibe I get, almost like a Tony Soprano. He's got a little bit of gold on, the way he's dressed, the jacket.
He's got the Tony Soprano hair. I think this is supposed to. When did Soprano start?
99.
Oh,
Wait,
I think
maybe
this
even
is
before that.
Absolutely,
I'll look it up.
Sopranos.
Yeah, I want to say Sopranos was either 99 or 97.
I'd have to agree with you.
If you want to have a conversation with someone about Sopranos, Ed loves Sopranos. He has such a love for that show. I think if he saw that, he'd be like, "That's fucking Tony." He loves it so much that we share a Max account, and his profile picture is Tony Soprano.
When Adele and I first started talking, you asked me how my end of the world was going because this was in April of 2020. And I said, good, catching up on TV shows. What about you? And you're like, I'm watching The Sopranos. And I was like, oh, is this your first watch through? And you're like, yeah, with my brother. I'm like, you let me know how that goes.
I did look it up. It started in 99.
99. Yeah, there you go. So I do kind of get the vibe, even if it's not supposed to be like contextually, like Tony in therapy. I think visually it's just supposed to
Like a little homage.
Yeah, I definitely see it.
By the way, have you seen the meme where it's the Sopranos family and they photoshopped the Rizzler in it?
Oh my
No, I
god.
haven't.
And
No,
it just looks
but-
like the Sopranos family.
But I saw a photo of the Rizzler and Julia Louise Dreyfus, and the caption, and somebody commented, "It's so funny that neither of these people know who the other one is." And I was like, that is true and
It's
hilarious.
funny if the Rizzler's like, oh yeah, she's from Saturday Night Live.
From New York City.
He starts quoting Seinfeld. I don't know if she's sponge-worthy. So, yeah, Jason's character, who's dressed like a middle-aged man, says, I don't know. The therapist asks, what do you think of my earrings? And again, Jason's character says, I don't know. The therapist puts a plunger on her head and asks what he thinks of her new hat. And again, he says, I don't know. The therapist pushes back, saying he has to have an opinion. And he replies that he can. Nobody cares what he thinks. The therapist points out that might be true, but you still have to have an opinion. And that's when Jason says, you want to know my opinion? This sucks. That's when Melissa points out that's not in the script. And Jason points out that he's talking about the script. That's when he holds the script up for the movie. Did you catch what the movie script was called?
Opinion, where art thou?
Kind of like, "Oh, brother, where art thou?" But it's "Opinion, where art
That's
thou?"
funny. Dab.
Yeah, that's exactly why I paused
Did they
on
just
that.
invent the dab
3 things.
and Rocket League?
Oh, damn.
Thank you for catching that.
Oh, can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
At the end of this scene,
Yeah.
I noticed the transition from this scene to the next scene when McGurk is talking to Lynch. Melissa's doing a facepalm, and then it transitions, and McGurk is also doing a facepalm.
Oh, that's a really good catch.
Thank you.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I don't think I did either, but they're getting really good at those kind of like linking transitions like
Yeah.
that.
Match cuts.
Yeah, I love that. McGurk being like, "There's no way Lynch is going to be," and then cut to Lynch, "interim principal,"
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I really like, so.
The cinematic language that has like evolved from episode 1 into like even in season 2 when they start doing like those transitions from like one thing into the next shot.
Sure.
Oh, just so good. I really like this show.
Yeah. We're literally almost right there, but where you have the screen paused right now, this shot of this is almost like the reflection of Brendan. And then you see Jason and Melissa in the background, and in the foreground is the text of the review that he's writing.
Yeah.
And later on, we see the actual page, and what he's typing now is the review of what's on the page. So it's really, really well done.
Yeah.
So Jason holds up the script for "Opinion, where art thou?" saying that the script sucks. Melissa agrees and tells Brendan that he needs to fix it. And that's when we see Brendan's perspective of him writing the movie review while Jason and Melissa are filming. He tells them to hold on because he's working on something, and Melissa pushes back, saying they could use a little direction from their, air quotes, director. Brendan offhandedly responds, "Do it faster." And Jason and Melissa approach Brendan to confront him, asking if they're interrupting him by making their little movie. Brendan finally turns his attention to Jason and Melissa, saying that they broke his concentration, and they ask him what he's working on, and that's when he confesses that he's writing a review for www.moviewienerorwinner.com. So we see the landing page for this with some reviews on it, with Brendan's being the last. I have those reviews. They're up on the screen now. I will read them. Tell me if this sounds familiar. The review for the first thing is a series called House Videos.
Played the theme from House.
Play the theme from Home Movies. It's the House Videos is the greatest. The images on the celluloid are a gift from the aliens who spawned us humans. Hey everyone, I also play guitar and I'll be performing this Monday at the Snack Shack. See you there. From Joey Nice.
It's a good name.
So the second review is, in my opinion, I felt Searching for Zemo, is that like a Nemo knockoff?
Nemo, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Was too cartoonish for an animated film. I mean, things happened that defied logic and physics. I don't think I'm too uptight here, people. Just because it's a cartoon doesn't give it license to be a cartoon. From Ass Monkey.
See, I really liked that review. I was reading it because I didn't get a chance to do it during the episode, and I started smiling because there's an episode of Game Grumps from a long time ago when CinemaSins was huge, and they were doing this bit about like a movie reviewer, and it was like, now look at this shot right here. The book's open, and I can read the book. Now he closes the book, and now I can't read it. What happened here? Just because they pick apart CinemaSins specifically would pick apart everything.
Yeah. This gives me the vibe of, I don't even remember which Pokemon game it was, but allegedly the game was really great, but then someone gave it like an 8 out of 10 and they're like, the water didn't look good enough. Or some dumb shit.
That's from movie reviewer or reviewer in general just trying to do something to make their job feel important.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember I made a joke about that. I was watching Super 8. Remember? And there's a part where all those dogs run through, and I'm like, that white lab just looked at the camera. What a terrible actor. So after I was watching this with my friends, and I said that during the movie afterwards, like, I was pretty good until that dog looked at the camera. We looked right at the camera. That's terrible acting.
That's like literally the first thing they tell you not to do.
Yeah.
Super 8's a great film,
Yes,
by the
it
way.
is. It's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
people would shit on because J.J. Abrams did it. Go watch it.
That review about the cartoon being too cartoony was written by Ass Monkey. So, good for Ass Monkey. So now, the third review would be from Movie Guy, which starts, so in conclusion, The Matrix, unleaded, was like a chocolate donut with sprinkles. Looks tasty, but oh so hollow. Skip the donut and go back for seconds with Triple X-Men 2. I also checked out The Bulk this weekend and gotta tell ya, I got angry and green during this incredible flop.
I think this is a lot of like, I remember reading reviews when I used to read reviews,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, did you just write this whole review so you can do the one joke in the headline?
Yes. There's a
And, like,
pun I
yeah.
thought of,
Yeah.
and this whole thing is going to just lead to that
Yes,
pun.
and it's like, I don't know if you like this movie or not. It just felt like, well, I want to write this pun.
I
So
want to be clever.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess I hate this movie because the pun is inherently negative about the movie.
Yeah, it's locked and loaded. I can't change. I
Yeah.
have to die on this hill now. I also love that it's a bunch of movies that came out around this time, like
Yeah.
Sure.
Matrix Reloaded, X-Men 2, The Bulk came out there that year. I'm pretty sure, like around there.
Which Hulk do you think they're referring to?
They're
The
referring to the one that what's his goddamn name? It was-
Ang Lee or
Ang Lee. It was
the
definitely
Norton
Ang.
one.
I was so excited for Ang Lee to come for Ang Lee to come to my house. No, I was waiting. I was waiting.
Whoa.
I was
Because you were the one person that watched his movie?
Yeah, I was such a big fan of the Hulk, and I was waiting for that movie. I used to watch the Lou Ferrigno Hulk movies,
Yeah.
and I was waiting for the Hulk to be released in 2003, and I was like a fucking child, so I didn't get it. I was like, he just fights a bunch of dogs. What the fuck's going on? So I hated the movie, but it's actually a very good movie. But yeah, I know that movie came out around that time, the second Matrix, the second X-Men, so all around the same exact time.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that too because I think that Hulk movie when my brother was previous and future podcast guest, he was in the military and he was overseas at that time. And one of the times he came back, he had a bootleg copy of the Hulk. And yeah, we watched it and I was like, this is bad.
I think it has its moments. This is not a Hulk review thing, but I think people should rewatch that movie and just like
Yeah.
take it. It's not a Marvel Cinematic Universe, but go watch it. It's really fun.
Is the one with Ed Norton, is that one technically part of the Marvel?
It is.
It is,
Cinematic?
but like they couldn't get Edward Norton back on, so
Right.
like it isn't. But it
Oh,
is. It is
right.
part of the Marvel.
Right,
like,
right.
you're like
Oh, they couldn't get him
Ang Lee-
back? I thought he was just like I heard he's not the easiest to work
no, it
with.
was. I think he wanted more money.
Oh,
A lot
okay.
more money.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Me and Ed will die on this hill too. 2008 Hulk is better than Iron Man. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, the Edward Norton Hulk is a good movie.
Oh yeah, it really is.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that has been the rewatch Hulk movies.
Yeah, that was the Marvel core. Adele took a nap, so she's. I woke her up. She's back. We're
Yeah.
good.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I
good
gave
morning.
up on Marvel a long time ago,
Yes,
so it's
yes.
just those ones.
Everyone should. All right. Well, that's when Brendan confesses that www.moviewienerorwinner.com likes his reviews and have asked him to write more stuff for their website. When Jason tries to clarify that Brendan is writing for www.moviewienerorwinner.com, Melissa finally loses her shit and explains to them, you don't have to say www.
I feel like Jason is rubbing off on her because I feel like Melissa in earlier seasons would not give a shit about that. She'd be like, all right. But now,
You know what's wild is I remember around this time, like 2003, having the www
yeah.
conversation.
well, because when the commercials would come out for any website, they'd be like, just go to www. So, like, even in my head right now, if I go to a website, I know the www, like the www. Like, it's such a weird earworm in my head because that's what everyone would say whenever they would show a website. But then I learned you don't have to type the
You
W.
really don't.
Did
Not
you-
at all.
Did you guys also know that W is W?
W.
Well, the letter W is doubles U's, two U's. And that's why it's called W.
Two V's.
Oh,
Well,
Yes.
that's why it's called the witch.
Yeah, the witch, not the witch.
Okay.
Tim's had it.
Oh, that was a knee slapper.
Well, Brendan claims you do have to say it, and Melissa claims everybody knows it already. Jason asks, how do you know it's a website then? And Melissa explains it's the .com. Melissa frustratingly explains that once something is around long enough in society, you can just abbreviate it. So Jason and Brendan push back saying, well, what else can we abbreviate? And Melissa says, fine, say www. No. As a matter of fact, anytime you want to say a website, you have to say World Wide Web. And that's when they argue that, well, that's a waste of time.
I wish we would call the internet the World Wide Web. Then we could better understand how we got stuck in it.
Oh, that was good.
I could write that down.
Did you notice the facepalm transition?
Well, yeah, you're right. We transition back into Lynch's office with McGurk. Coach is frustrated, saying, who's going to stop them now that you're captain of the ship? And he's been waiting a long time to have a man on the inside. Coach asks if he can sit in the principal's chair. Lynch lets him, but then Coach immediately jumps up and says that he's going to pee in the plant.
Well, he says, if you sit down, will you leave? And he's like, maybe. And then he immediately doesn't.
Yeah, of course. So he gets up to pee in the plant. Lynch tries to stop him and explains it's a fake plant. And Coach just tells him to shut up.
He wants this. He needs this. He's such a bully. He's such a fucking bully. Fuck this guy. And fuck Lynch for letting him do it.
Well, now we're back at the www argument, and Brendan is explaining that the website is going to pay him $75 for each review.
That's, especially in 2003, seems like a lot of money.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
$140?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. Almost 140.
That is wild.
For an 8-year-old to write a movie review.
A shitty
tiny
paragraph
blurb,
and a
yes.
half.
Yeah.
And then you see him later. He's got all these checks.
Yeah, made out to the movie guy.
Yeah.
How good are his reviews that are... I don't think they are.
They're not good.
No.
But people will... if you know how to string a sentence together, people will be like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
The comedy was funny.
Dude, $75 a day wouldn't even get us a brand new video game. Sad.
Did you notice that the window in the background is cardboard?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I didn't!
It's it's like a window with, is it
Yeah.
like, not curtains,
blinds.
but blinds, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy
That's
shit.
really well done.
That's movie magic, baby.
I
Absolutely.
also, just a quick side note, I caught this earlier too when he's on this grape laptop. Right now we see the back of it, and there's a lot of ports that you would find on a laptop. At one point you see the side of it, and there's like 5 or 6 green lights, and one of them is flashing between like green and red, and I'm like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Who is that for?
Yeah. Remember what they took from us. They have 3 aux cords.
Yeah.
2 USB. Oh, God. Better conditions for prisoners.
We're the prisoners.
Yeah. But we didn't notice that this laptop, who said the grape laptop?
Grape, yeah.
Yeah, it's instead of an apple, it's grape. I just wanted to point that out.
Yes.
'cause it's actually really fucking
Yeah,
funny.
like in iCarly, it was a pear.
Yeah, you know, in
That's
Puzzle
funny.
Valley, it's a mango.
Oh, shit, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. In my head, it's an eggplant.
In my head, it's me crying.
When I think of an eggplant. And next episode.
Well, Melissa actually, once Brendan says he's getting paid $75 review, Melissa seems like pretty impressed and begins reading Brendan's reviews, which starts with, in conclusion. Brendan says he does that because it's catchy, and he has final say.
The catchiness is real. It's the reason people remember Nostalgia Critic. I remember it, so you don't have to. Like, they just throw a catch line, and people will believe you.
Yeah.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, Jason says it's annoying. But Brendan explains that he signs his reviews as movie guy, and Jason claims that's catchy. But Melissa says, but annoying.
I love that Melissa's impressed when he's getting monetization, and that's the only time.
Yeah.
I like, what was it? Is that your, like, alter ego, or is that your, what did she call it? Like, a secondary name or whatever?
Oh, your what do you call it? The pen name or pseudonym?
Pseudonym.
Pseudonym.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, that's just the name I go by when I write stuff. It's like, yeah, that's... Well, we do get a quick montage of Brendan's reviews. First one saying, the suspense was suspenseful and the comedy was funny. But Movie Guy says, read the book instead. The phone book, that is, because it has less characters than this movie. The next review is Alone at the Top, which is the story of a love triangle among a circle of friends and two best friends torn apart by success and failure and jealousy and success. What we don't hear him read, though, is the last couple of lines of this review, which you see very briefly on the screen, which say, "The on-screen sex was hot. It tingled my prepubescent loins like guppies in a hot," and then you don't see what the rest is, if it's hot tub or hot whatever, but that's at the very end of the Alone at the Top review. He stops reading and then it goes to another paragraph and then it like fades out. But yeah, it talks about the on-screen sex being hot.
I hated that. My jaw dropped as you said prepubescent
Loins.
guppies. Guppies?
Prepubescent loins like guppies in a hot,
He found a dictionary and just went to town.
basically. Or a thesaurus.
What is a guppy?
A little fish.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ew, I don't like that visual that they put in my head.
Yeah. I don't want to think about an 8-year-old's loins.
Yeah.
Or his guppy.
Well,
Guppy
the
loins.
last review is, "It's a winner, but leave before the ending because it was too scary." And we see Brendan cling to the side of a random moviegoer who appears to be on a date.
He does not look happy.
Well, we're back in the movie, and it's Jason in his therapy session. The therapist says that she has never seen anything like this, nothing about it in any of her books, and there's nothing she can do. She then remembers that she can call her friend Dr. Schwuttenmausen, and Jason begs her to do it, saying he's desperate. So now Jason is in session with the doctor, saying he wasn't trying to insult him. He was just saying that with a name like Schwuttenhausen, he didn't think. And that's when Brendan jumps in and says, with a very bad Irish accent, "You didn't think I'd be Irish, did ya?"
I like how you said a very bad Irish accent, where in my notes I said decent.
Decent
I
Irish
wrote a
accent.
note in my notes. I've noticed that like they put in some work with the accents. In one of the previous episodes, they were doing like Mad Max, and all three of them had to do Australian
Yeah.
accents
Yeah.
for like an extended period of time. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, like do they have accent coaches, or are these people just like that good at accents, like the voice actors?
Yeah, but then they just started saying dango and
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the funny thing with them
Arr.
doing accents is they can do them bad and just be like, "Yeah, of course they're bad. They're 8."
Yeah. Of course they're racist. They're 8.
Movie review. The 8-year-olds were terrible at accents. Not real.
It took me out. Yeah, Jason says no, and Brendan asks, "Would you be having an opinion about me now?" And Jason still says no. So then Brendan, as a doctor, calls him an idiot. Goes on to say, okay, so I didn't quite get this part that he says, because he says like, an opinion is something to be treasured, and it's good to come oot to mean anything at all. Like, that's what I heard. I have no idea what he was trying to say with that.
It seems like they're just trying to emphasize the word oot.
Oot. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that's his movie reviews bleeding through into the
Yeah.
script, where he just starts throwing everything at the page.
Right. Well, when he says this, too, Jason, almost confused, was like, was he pointing at his butt?
Also, he in order to show that the character is balding, I don't know what that's on his forehead, but it looks like a thumb.
I thought that was his actual hair when I first time I saw it because it's the same color.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, it is supposed to be like, yeah, balding
like a
at the
wrinkly
top or something.
forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Jason makes that comment, Brendan yells, "Cut." Oh, big cut. And then proceeds to review this scene as though it was one of his movie reviews. Saying the scene was uninspired. He's seen better acting on a postage stamp. Immediately, Melissa and Jason tell Brendan he's being a jerk and sounds like one of his movie reviews. Jason pushes back saying the script was uninspired and that he has seen better writing on a postage stamp.
I was expecting Brendan to start crying after that.
Well, Melissa straight up tells him he needs to spend a little more time on his script and a little less time on his reviews. Brendan pushes back saying that they're going to do the scene again from Jason's line, literally throws the wig at Melissa. And that's when we hear Paula call down to Brendan to come upstairs. Brendan kind of shows his hand by asking his mom if she found all of his checks. And Paula immediately wants clarification.
This is the angriest we've heard Paula. She has
Yeah.
anger in her voice.
Do we actually find out what he was initially being called up for?
No.
Yeah, so
Because
it wasn't
she-
that important then.
Yeah. Exactly. I think the fact that he's like, "Did you find my checks?" And she's like, "Wait, what?"
And she sounds genuinely angry. I was so interested in what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He probably said something about guppies.
Yeah.
The following scene is Brendan talking to his mom, showing her all the checks, thinking he would be in trouble. She would be mad at him because he's just a kid. She tells him that she thinks it's great that he's getting paid for writing reviews. She just wishes that he would have told her about it. And even goes on to say that she's actually proud of him. Well, that's when Brendan says, "Well, then you're going to love this." And takes out press passes to see the premiere of the movie, All That Violence.
So it was a musical
Right? Okay.
because it's off of
All that jazz.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I picked up. Even the photo was like a woman kind of dressed in a
Like, what is that?
boudoir.
Vaudevillian?
Yeah.
Burlesque.
Burlesque.
Yeah.
Dancing on top of a tank. And
Yeah.
I think that's supposed to be like a blood stain behind
Yeah.
it.
Is it like that Chinese musical that's like advertising everywhere right now?
Shen Yu?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I mean, now that I know it's a musical, I'd see it.
Yeah. Maybe that's why McGurk didn't like it. But Lynch kind of did,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Paula points out that it's probably rated R and could potentially be violent. And Brendan says, "Well, that's the ironic thing. It's really not that violent." And Paula pushes back and says, "Well, I don't want you to know about irony." Tells Brendan, "It doesn't sound appropriate for you children, and you're not going." Brendan does that little kid thing of saying, "Well, Jason and Melissa are going." And Paula says, "Well, their parents probably don't know that it's called All That Violence." Until I call him and tell him.
Okay, call Jason's parents. They don't fucking
Yeah,
give a
that's-
Yeah,
shit.
good
That's
luck.
like a common theme is that
Right?
there's the one episode I was watching a few where he's like, "Oh, I'm with my friends. We're making movies. Yeah, we make." He's like, "You didn't tell your parents we make movies?
Yeah.
What did you tell them we're doing this whole time?"
Crazy.
Yeah, that
I
was
told
like,
my mom I was with Brendan, and she's like, "Who's Brendan?" And
Yeah.
I had to explain, "Well, he's my friend, and we make movies together, and like real movies, but shorter." So now we see Brendan, Jason, and Melissa. We're in Brendan's sandbox. Brendan is burying Jason. Melissa is voicing her concern with Brendan, saying that since he started writing reviews, he's been ignoring his work. And Jason points out also his friends, basically his only two friends.
Damn.
Yeah, called out
Yeah.
in 4K.
I would say that Brendan has more than just the two friends.
yeah.
I think so.
He's
I think
got
like
Fenton.
Junior. Yeah, Fenton.
Let's not bring Fenton into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a later episode.
Well, he's got Walter and Perry.
Yeah, but what do they really add to the conversation in Brendan's mind?
Make a
healthy
movie
re-
about Perry and I.
An example of a healthy relationship.
They start pulling his eyes and his ears and his arms. Get him!
This is when Melissa tries to break it down to Brendan in a way that he'll understand, which is www.you'vebeenignoringsUs.com. And Brendan replies with www.imsorry.com. He still wants to go to the premiere. Melissa asks how they're supposed to get there, and Brendan says he has an idea. Well, we see Brendan.
Wait, real quick. Can we go back to the just they're in the sandbox?
Yeah.
I don't know why it came to me because the second I saw Jason in the sandbox, I thought about the episode where they were getting interviewed in like episode the finale. Of
That would be,
season
yeah,
one.
the finale of.
I forget what he said to the interviewer, but he said he loves sitting in in the sandbox, and that's where he comes up with all of his ideas. And in this scene, he's just like holding a drink. He's so relaxed. He's covered in sand. I think this is his safe space.
Absolutely.
I can see it.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to add.
It was a good addition.
We see Brendan approaching a sunbathing Coach McGurk.
He's got his toes out.
Yeah, that was the only
dogs
note.
out for free.
That was the only note I had about this scene.
I love how his swim trunks still maintain that
red
kind
and
of red
yellow.
and yellow
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah.
Those are just his colors. So Brendan's got a proposition for McGurk.
Oh, did you say proposition?
Yeah.
That's-
Coach says he's all ears. and then immediately distracts himself by thinking how gross it would be if he was actually made of all ears.
So yeah, what do you think that would be? Like, do you think it'd be all a bunch, like everything is ears, or just one big ear?
I'd like to think everything is ears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just all ears. So
Yeah.
how deep does that go? Do you think that inside, like every bone?
Everything.
Like your heart.
Everything.
Okay, my question is
Gary
your arm
Oldman his ears.
is your arm like a bunch of ears put together, or is it one long ear?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. What about the hairs on your arm? Are those little tiny ears?
What is that? No, you say what you were gonna say.
I'm just saying it's just a bunch of little ears that make up the shape of an arm.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, what is that phobia of all the little dots that go together?
Oh, hair. Or,
I forget what it's called with all the holes.
yeah.
I think it starts with a T.
Google trapophobia, trapecophobia, trapeophobia.
I will say that my brother and I used to get high a lot together, and the whole like, what if I was just all ears thing is so like that is 100% something my brother would say
That's
every
what-
single time.
I love those those nothing conversations are so fucking good.
Yeah.
And then, but like in my head, in my brain, if I was going to create a character that was all ears, like it's like their weak spot is in the center, and all the ears lead to it. That's where the brain is.
The eardrum is
Yes.
I also like to think that like this person is so sensitive to like sound that he is in constant pain. Just like,
It's like Black Bolt, but the reverse.
I have no mouth, but
I
I
must
must
scream.
I am.
Even the noise I'm making is killing me.
Yeah, right? You're like, hey, what's up? He's like, ah, it's so loud.
Oh, I'm sweating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all do. I love it.
Well, Brendan is trying to ask Coach for a ride to the premiere of All That Violence, but Coach just cannot let the all ears comment go, and even confesses it's probably because he's a little drunk, so it amuses him. Brendan tries to get Coach to focus, and Coach finally listens to the offer of giving him a ride and asks what's in it for him, and that's when Brendan shows him the movie ticket for All That Violence, and Coach says, what the hell? Okay.
This scene also does a weirdly good amount of like lighting balance.
Yes,
with the
when
sun.
Brendan's like in and out of his
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation for the lighting is so good. There's even a scene coming up in a little bit where they're outside and they're like under a street light, and the way that it's lit is just really, really good.
The cinematic language in this is so good. Also, he has a keg next to him, and it's
Yes.
it says lemonade, but it's strapped over the logo of Black Hole Brew.
Right. The lemonade part is on a piece of paper that's just taped onto the keg. So that's how he's getting away with drinking lemonade.
Looks like he's just sucking it straight out of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does not have a cup. He's
Like a
just drinking it
backpack.
right out. He's even like pumping the tap.
Yeah.
Keg stand.
Yeah.
Keg stand.
So we get a quick scene after this. We're in the office of interim principal Lynch when Mr. Fink enters, immediately starts complaining to Lynch, saying he's got to do something about McGurk. He busts into his science class and started teaching again. Well, that's when we get another quick scene of McGurk teaching to the science class, explaining you don't mix beer with scotch. And even does the poem, liquor before beer, never fear.
Can you guys read what's on the left poster?
Nuclear energy is rad. Nuclear scientists are more radder.
Interesting.
My rads are going up.
I was going to say, is that like because it's nuclear and like rads?
Radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're radiated.
That's funny. Have any of you guys ever heard that poem before?
Yeah.
The liquor before beer, never fear.
No, it's a liquor before beer. You're in the clear.
Liquor, yeah, beer before liquor, never been sicker.
Yeah. So he's
That's
telling
what
them.
I've heard.
They're
Yeah.
telling them the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. I don't really drink, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, but I have a friend who loves drinking, so I definitely know the code.
Yeah.
I was raised by alcoholics, so.
Oh, me too.
Well, we come back to Lynch telling Fink everything will be fine. He'll take care of McGurk. Well, we cut back to the class where Melissa is asking about a Boilermaker, which is scotch and beer together. Coach explains it's not one before the other, it's together, so it's okay. And Melissa immediately starts taking down notes.
I also want to say McGurk on the things he clearly wrote them both. Before is in there twice. He misspelled it 2 different ways.
Perfect. Well, that's when we hear Mr. Lynch over the loudspeaker saying McGurk needs to come to the principal's office immediately.
I kind of wanted all the kids to go, oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he's like, I got the perfect thing, and I thought it was going to be all the embarrassment from the students of everyone going, oh,
Yeah, I wish they did.
trouble.
God, that was like minus 5 points every time that would happen. It's like the psychic damage that would occur.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. We see Fink telling Lynch he doesn't have to put his hand over his mouth. It sounds that way because of the intercom. And as they're both looking at the intercom, they realize it's still on. We see the class that McGurk is teaching, and then we hear Mr. Lynch say, oh, crap. I like this part because we're in between classes with Brendan, Jason, and Melissa as they try to figure out the plan for the night. They're meeting at the soccer field, and Melissa's going to say she's staying at Brendan's house, and Brendan's going to say he's staying at Jason's house. But Jason immediately pushed back, saying Brendan can't stay at his house because his aunt and uncle are staying there. So they explain to Jason they're not really staying at his house. They're lying to their parents, so when they ask him where is he staying, where are you going to say? And Jason says, at my house with my aunt and uncle. So they specify where they're going to tell their parents, where they're telling their parents they are while they're at the movie. And Jason simply explains, I'm going to tell them I'm at the movie. So again, like showing Jason kind of just has like completely free reign over his life in general.
Yeah, he can't really get in trouble because his parents don't seem to care. Also, he opens the scene by scratching his ass.
I was going to say you get a glimpse of the old gross Jason for like a second.
The animators want to bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
I mean, you get an itch, you got to scratch it, but like,
Yeah.
be...
Sometimes your butt's itching.
Yeah, I can't really fault him on it. I just wish I wouldn't see it.
Well, he did it so subtly. I have a feeling once he realized that he liked Melissa, he kind of drew back on the grossness.
Yeah, he was so subtle about it. In like episode 1, he probably was like, guys, look at this. Oh, yeah, there's skin flakes on the floor.
Well, the following scene, we're back in Lynch's office, and it looks like a Spencer's Gifts. We have like a disco ball. The lighting is low. Did you catch the lava lamp?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a third doodle of mine.
Very, very well animated lava lamp.
Okay, just to go back to the other scene just real quick, because they end the scene with Brendan goes, Jason? And he's like, what? He's, nothing. And he just closes the door.
Yeah. It's almost like Brendan wants to talk to him about, like, what is your life?
Yeah.
Man. What the fuck?
What's going on in your head? Why can't you understand?
What is your relationship with your parents?
Yeah,
you
why
are
didn't you tell me?
7. You are 1 year younger than us, and tell your parents what you're doing.
Do you need me to call
Instead
somebody?
of
Yeah,
asking.
look at the lava lamp.
Oh, that's nice. He simultaneously doesn't tell his parents stuff, but also doesn't lie to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which, hey, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. By the time I was in high school, there were times where I called my parents and I'm like, hey, I'm at a party and everyone here is way too drunk to drive. I can either crash here or you can come pick me up. And my parents were like, I mean, you didn't get in a car with someone who was drunk. You didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were responsible. Yeah.
Right. But
Couldn't be me.
I was also like 16, 17, not 7.
Yeah, that's the big
Fair.
one. Because Jason doesn't know everything, but he's had to learn. That's where his wisdom comes from. His parents never taught him anything. He had to learn it on his own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
So, again, now we're in Lynch's office. It does look like a Spencer's Gift. We got low lighting, a disco ball, a lava lamp. Coach is pointing out that he stole the pop machine from the lunchroom and brought it into Lynch's office and even wired it so you don't have to pay.
Wired it, destroyed it.
Right. Yeah. Lynch pushes back, says it belongs in the lunchroom, even says, you know who's losing out here? And McGurk's like, yeah, the kids. Who cares?
See, I thought he was going to say, like, he was going to get into it, like, no, McGurk, we have to buy the soda.
Well, that makes more
School buys
sense.
the soda,
Right.
and then gets reimbursed by the people buying the soda.
It doesn't just appear there
Yeah.
randomly, McGurk, which I know for a fact he believes.
Yeah, and
yeah.
but that's where I thought Lynch was going to go, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of doesn't really go. He just kind of stops with, like, yeah, it's the kids. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
So-
at one point, like when they're talking, the camera changes and you see their shadows like against the camera with the light backdropping it. Paused it there so it looks like they're kissing.
Oh, it does.
Okay, so yeah, McGurk says that they can make this like their clubhouse where there's no girls and they're allowed to have a soda machine.
No girls, huh? Just the two of you, huh?
Yeah, very interesting.
With all this mood lighting, huh?
Lava lamp.
Spanking.
Gummy worms.
Piss in the corner.
Other gay stuff.
Lynch pushes back and says, you can't keep doing stuff like this. And McGurk explains that they're friends, and that's what friends do. They steal for each other. Lynch keeps pushing back and saying, Coach has to stop this. He's the principal. I like it. Lynch even, adjusts his tie. He's like, I'm the principal.
We can't do this here, McGurk. I'm the principal. You're my employee. It'd be weird.
Well, that's when Coach tells Lynch to turn around.
Damn.
And when he does, Coach asks him, what are you wearing under there? After a couple responses of what? And you don't need to know that. And Lynch finally says, underwear. And Coach gives him a huge wedgie, exposing his kitty cat underwear, saying, underwear.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
His face is like, well, I don't really hate this. Hate this.
Oh, no, I'm so humiliated.
Yeah, I know. Even him is like, oh, is that too much? McGurk's like, did I go too far?
What's your safe word?
Yeah.
Meow.
Well, this next scene, beautifully lit scene. Brendan's sitting on some monkey bars dictating another movie review. He's explaining that the story was too hard to follow, and he's explained this about foreign films before. If you're going to go through the trouble of making a movie, you might as well make it in English.
I loved that line so much
Yeah.
because I used to hate subtitles because I don't know how you guys are with subtitles, but I have to look at the bottom of the fucking screen. I can't just enjoy it and look at the center.
I purposely don't do specifically. I should say I don't like it in anime because it's like people worked really hard to draw that.
Yeah.
And I want to absorb all of it. And
Plus you miss stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know some people are like, subs are always better than dubs, but I'm also kind of watching this for all the art that people drew with their
Absolutely.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boobs in the center of the screen,
Yeah.
not the bottom.
Oh, God.
That's a joke about anime.
It's called hentai, and it's an art.
It's all art.
Cut Office.
Yeah, that's the only reference I know from The Office because I haven't seen it. But I love the way he says, it's called hentai, and it's art.
So this next scene, beautifully lit. Oh, yeah, again.
Like shadows and everything.
Yeah.
The way that it's like dusk, so it's not nighttime yet, but the sun's still out. It's purplish in the background.
Even then, thematically, camera angles, the higher means the position of power, and then they're switching.
Oh, dude, yeah, you're right.
Well, and I like this part, too, because Mr. Lynch comes in, and Brendan has a hard time figuring out how to address him. I think he calls him Mr. Lynch, and then he's like, oh, I mean, Mr. Principal. I mean, Mr. Interim Lynch. So Lynch asks Brendan why he's not hanging out with his friends, and Brendan explains that he's working on some movie reviews for www.moviewienerorwinner.com. And even Mr. Lynch tells him he doesn't have to say the www. And that's when Brendan kind of confesses that he likes saying it.
Yeah.
There it is.
So Lynch goes on to explain that he came out there to do some thinking, even saying that suspending yourself from these bars isn't that hard, But suspending someone else, especially a friend, now that's tough.
They're admitting that they're friends with each other.
I also like that, they could have done a lot less with the hair, making it look like his hair. Mm-hmm. But they're like, no, we gotta, because it goes back to, it's just, a lot of attention to detail going into the hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when he's upside down, it starts
Yes,
falling, too,
yeah.
with everything.
Right?
Yep.
And he never unpicked the wedgie.
Yeah. No, he's, again.
'Cause he
he's-
liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't hate it.
It's to remember him by.
So when he says the part about suspending a friend, and Brendan immediately is like, hey, am I being suspended?
Yeah.
And Lynch clarifies, not you, but a faculty member. So then Brendan's like, oh, okay. And immediately leaves. So at the end of the scene, there's a split second where, Lynch hangs upside down. We see his shirt come down, and we see his kitty cat underwear still overstretched from the wedgie. Also, while upside down, a handful of items fall out of Mr. Lynch's pocket.
It looks like a toothbrush.
Being interesting, being the little detective I am, I paused at approximately this moment right here. I'm going to say this is about 17 minutes and 29 seconds. And I confirmed with 2 of the animators on this show. The following items fell out of Mr. Lynch's pocket. 2 separate keys, a bottle of nasal spray, a book of matches, and a bag of marijuana and a
There it is.
marijuana pipe.
Let's go.
Oh my God! I thought that was a toothbrush.
Same.
That's why he's so chill all the time.
Oh my god.
Oh wow! I am glad you confirmed that with the animators. No.
17 minutes, 29 seconds. I've seen this episode just watching it for funsies probably a dozen times. Adele and I watched it the other night. I watched it with commentary. I remember when Adele and I watched it, I'm like, oh, a bunch of stuff fell out of his pocket. I'll pause it later and take note.
Like, if you were to guess, not knowing what that baggie is, I thought it would be like a cough drop. Or like
Okay.
a piece of candy.
Piece of
in, like, a
candy?
clear wrapper.
Yeah.
But, like, it looks like it's like he had it and you opened it already and then you kind of twisted it back like you already had some.
Right. So,
Or so I hear.
Lynch's interim principal. Could you make an argument maybe it was confiscated off somebody? I would almost make an argument with the way that McGurk made his office look, that it was taken from McGurk.
Oh.
Because he seemed like he was ready to fucking chill.
I want it to be his.
So are
Yeah.
you sure that's nasal spray and not like eye drops?
That I believe it says like nasal spray
Yeah.
or something like that. Eye drops would make sense.
I
The book
can't-
of matches I think has a cat on it.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
I can't read it from here, so like the first thought I had when it dropped out wasn't nasal spray. It was like, oh, I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
I thought it was
Yeah.
a glue bottle as well.
But the weed is just it's so revealing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's Lynch's 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where's his checks?
I had a health teacher in 8th grade. He was like the health teacher. He taught us about like marijuana and all that stuff. And I even remember when he was teaching us that he was like, "Oh yeah, marijuana. They say it does this and this." Okay, moving on. Later, found out my oldest brother played football with his son, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, he was my health teacher." And my brother's like, "Oh yeah, we used to steal weed from his closet all the time."
People can smoke weed. Lynch can smoke weed. He needs to smoke weed now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In my high school, there was a science teacher who was pretty notorious for being a pothead.
I don't see a problem with it.
I
Like,
don't. He was a great teacher. I had so much fun in his class.
It relaxes you. Takes the edge off. What, you rather them just drink and drunk drive and do everything that... I don't drink a lot, so I don't really know.
I just keep saying, I always say it's medicine.
Little drinky for me.
I don't know. It's this. I guess alcohol at one point. Cocaine at one point was medicine.
Right. This next scene, another very well lit scene in the
Yes.
dark.
Spooky
This
owl.
is going to be our clip. So let's go ahead and roll this.
I don't like this, Brendan.
Me neither, Brenda. It's fine, guys. Don't worry
Coach
about it.
McGurk is late.
He'll be here. Oh, I heard a long time ago that they found a head.
Jason, I don't want to hear that kind of stuff, okay?
Melissa, I was just going to say that they found a headlight
Oh.
next to a body.
Jason!
A dead body.
Stop it! Go ahead then, make jokes, but did you know that the teenagers come here to get drunk on Friday nights?
How do you know, Melissa?
My father buys for them.
That's illegal.
Well, he says they're just going to buy it in a couple years anyway. It makes sense when he says it.
Now I know where to go.
Brendan, there's nothing worse than drunken teenagers.
Thanks to your dad. Yeah.
Let's get out here. We're going to be eaten by coyotes and elk.
Elk.
It's rutting season. They're extra dangerous during the rutting season.
Yeah, and your father probably gives him alcohol. Shh.
Oh my god.
He's
Oh my
really
god,
going to
somebody's
town.
coming to kill us.
Oh no, Melissa, it's a car full of elk.
Who's there? Drunken teenagers?
I wish. Who doesn't love
And
them?
this begins.
Come on, don't just stand there. Get in. It's rutting season.
Oh, so much to unpack.
Oh my
also,
goodness.
it's the reckless. there used to be. Do you remember? It was Fearless. Do you guys remember this?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
I have no idea what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh, this was a big thing in like the late '90s, early 2000s. It would be the word fearless as the like you can do blackout as I think 6 inches from the top as much as you want, and people would have the word fearless with black like that, and that's what I'm pretty sure that's what that's referencing.
Oh my
Interesting.
God.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like an age thing, but I
Yeah.
vividly remember a
Yeah, it
ton of
sounds-
cars with fearless.
Very familiar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
I don't like that. I prefer reckless. Fearless doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
You can. Fear is good, but you need to be reckless.
Maybe we should all be a little afraid all the time.
Yeah.
Says
Yeah.
my anxiety.
But I feel like that was like a big thing for like No Fear was like
Yeah.
a bunch of like a shirt brand everybody.
Oh,
wore.
yeah.
No Fear.
That turned into a meme that people would draw because it would say no fear and then like something stupid
Yeah.
and then it'd be one fear. I think I have that meme saved right now.
That's so funny.
Oh, fuck.
Well,
Fuck it. The only one I can think of is like no fear. It's like we have no idea that we can actually fuck aliens that would be compatible. One fear. Also, we're gonna unpack what McGurk said here.
Oh,
Yeah.
about who doesn't like drunk teenagers?
Yeah.
He is showing his cards.
I don't want to. I don't want to add that to the lore, the canon of home
Hey,
movies in my mind.
Shall we go back to the coffee shop where he was all like, maybe I can sleep with a coworker when he found out she was 18?
Well, Little Mama's just so charming.
All right, she's also a teenager.
I wouldn't do it, but I'm just saying she's charming.
Yeah, she is.
I like to think because he's looking up and to the left or up and to the right in his point of view that he is being nostalgic of a time he was drunk.
he was a drunk teenager.
If you read his body language in this scene.
Well, we actually might have someone who could do that.
Oh, you're right.
It's true.
I'll add that to the list.
And I just to backtrack just a little bit when I just love how Jason was like teasing Melissa.
Yeah.
And with his little smirk, and it's just you know how like when little boys like a girl and they'll just
Yeah.
like tease her a little bit, and just like, oh, that's actually really fucking cute.
Oh, when he found out that her dad was supplying alcohol for the teenagers, like that was like 3 jokes. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably drunk. Thanks to your dad.
There was even a little freeze frame where he was like thinking of the next thing he was
Yeah.
gonna say.
He's
yeah.
like, Melissa, I said that there was a headlight next to a body.
And even like the shadowing on his face
Oh,
was really
yeah.
good. Yeah.
One other thing that I just noticed on accident. Watch how this transitions from this scene to the next scene.
It is a wipe transition.
It is a wipe but like what type of wipe transition? Look at it.
Look at it.
Is it like a VHS line?
It is a VHS line
that's
going
funny.
across to transition.
Oh, that's good.
Just like the attention to detail these animators
Very
throw
well.
in there.
Season
Very
4,
well done.
baby.
Season 4, the final season.
Well, McGurk tells him to get into the car, but immediately can't get it to start. Coach confesses his battery is dead. Brendan asks, I thought your friend was supposed to get you a new battery. And Coach replies, some friend. He wanted me to pay for it. Well, Brendan expresses how he has to get to the movie. Coach says there's a convenience store about 10 minutes down the road, so he'll call for a tow truck and be back in 15 minutes.
Melissa freaks out.
Well, Melissa asks, you're going to leave a bunch of kids in the car alone? And Coach simply responds, yeah, it's not the first time.
Yeah, it was hot that day.
Yeah.
Also,
Damn hungry hot.
I want to just throw this out there. Melissa is terrified right now.
Oh, yeah.
Even though she's in a car and it could be locked. She was willing to run away to Paris on a boat
To make Brendan happy.
to make Brendan happy. Also, look, Jason's got his hands on his head.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Because he's thinking of the next roast for Melissa, probably.
Yeah.
He's like, I got them all locked up in here, baby.
And there's like multiple times where Jason is like, I don't want to go home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he's in the back seat with Melissa.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, remember, too, there was an episode where, like, Jason and Brendan were fighting a little bit, and Jason called it, like, 3 or 4 in the morning and talked about, like, how his circadian rhythm was all messed up, and he's, like, awake at night a lot. So it seems like he's, like, ready to go.
Yeah.
He's, like, the one friend that's like, oh, we calling it quits? What's up?
That used to be me. Like, what are we doing next, guys?
Ah, it's still us.
Yeah.
So now we have Brendan, Jason, and Melissa in McGurk's car. Brendan is saying that the movie has started and he's going to get fired from writing online movie reviews, which I don't think that's a thing. Jason says they can always go to the midnight screening. Brendan says he'll be too tired and would probably fall asleep. So Jason asks, what if I tickled you?
And then it just gets dropped after that.
See,
Well,
that's one of my questions when I meet new people and friends is just like, are you ticklish? Which you gotta know. You gotta know up front. You gotta ask them up front first thing, just so you know for later. Not right then, for later.
So this bumper sticker, horn broken, watch her finger.
Yep.
Nice.
I just wanted to say that I saw a great bumper sticker. And it's like, keep honking. I'm listening to ska, and you're part of the band now. And I think
Nice.
that's such a great bumper sticker.
I have never knocked on wood. You're supposed to
song.
finish it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
Yep.
Yeah.
hell yeah. Well, Jason asks, what if I tickle you? And it gets dropped because that's when we hear a knock at the window. Melissa jumps into the back seat yelling, elk. And that's when we see that it's Coach McGurk. We hear a woman tow truck driver inform Coach that a jump is going to be $50. And Coach turns around to see tow truck Tina. He is immediately starstruck and informs her he has her calendar.
She's like 7 foot tall.
Yeah. He ends up giving her $100, and he even puts it in what looks like a garter belt that has tools on it. Coach asks her if she's willing to sign a calendar, and he pulls out her calendar, which is called Head to Toe,
Yeah. Toe spelled
T-O-W. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
And she agrees. I love when she agrees, Coach is immediately like, Brendan, get in the glove box. Give me a pen. Hurry up.
At this point I was like, oh my god, the episode's gonna end, and I don't have a doodle. And then my angel, I was like, yes,
My muse.
I was like, thank God. Oh, great character.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but she did sign McGurk's calendar, which he is looking at in front of the children.
Yeah. And then he hits him with a line.
Well, first, I don't know if you saw the signature. Her signature says, I'll make your engine purr, with some X's and O's. So then Coach makes a super inappropriate comment saying, you can't imagine how many times I've, right?
Right?
And I love it. He's just like, yeah.
Unfazed.
My favorite part about the edition, it's because he puts it in the garter, right, head to toe, all of that stuff. Like,
It was the, I know what it is. It's the assless chap jump scare.
yeah, right there, dude.
Because it's another wipe transition.
It is.
And she just got the mechanic suit with like assless.
And it's not like, because we've seen assless chaps before in this show, surprisingly, during the concert episode in the background.
Yeah.
We saw, but here, literally, here, there's an actual, like, tone to it, like the actual dip. You see the cheek actually sticking out and the thigh.
Even on the calendar, you see one where she's like starting to she's got like her shirt at her shoulder. And then there's one, I think it's this part, when she moves away, she's like hand bra topless.
Yeah.
I don't know where she came from, but I'm so glad she's here. I was like, doodle, doodle, doodle. And then she was there for like 10 seconds, and I put in my notes here, how do we drop the best character and dip?
Oh, Tina.
Well, she successfully jumps the reckless mobile. Coach thanks Tina and tells her she's great and expensive.
Also, under the hood is like 2 spaz colas and like a soccer ball.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
That's why it won't work.
Well, Melissa and Brendan say they just want to go home, but Jason pushes back, asking if they can drive around for a bit because he's kind of up. That's when we see Coach drive about 3 feet and his car dies again. And the 4 of them yell, no. So we have this quick scene where Josie and Brendan are laying in Paula's lap. Paula is telling Brendan that she hopes he learned his lesson. She's kind of like stroking his hair. And Brendan replies he did. If anything goes wrong, then she'll rub his head. And then Paula proceeds to kind of like pull on his hair a bit until Brendan starts like yelping like a puppy.
Oh my God. the way that you were saying that I was watching this scene, I was like, that's okay. Why was that happening? I forget this
Great
scene.
question. So now we have the penultimate scene, which is
Here we go.
Lynch and McGurk at the end of the movie.
Davio, Johnny Depp, Tanny DeVito,
So I do have all this written down.
Queefer Sutherland.
Dude, this is 2003. This might be the earliest Queefer Sutherland joke.
Yeah. That's number 4 that they started.
Written and directed by.
So we got a lot going on in this
Yeah.
credit scene. Let's say this real quick. Let me say this. So we have the end credit scene. McGurk is saying that the movie sucked, but Lynch claims he likes it, saying he actually enjoyed the violence. It was a surprise. Lynch goes on to explain to Coach that he's thinking that maybe there's something he can do for McGurk, and then proceeds to offer to suspend him for a week with pay. So basically, he's going to use his position at principal to give Coach a week's paid vacation.
But also to everyone else, it looks like he finally suspended.
He finally suspended him, and he gets him out of... Lynch gets him out of his own hair for a week. He gets him out of everyone else's hair.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
This is actually a brilliant fucking move.
Yeah.
Can I just? I thought I saw like a very split second of a flash of something when they were doing the credits.
You
Just
did.
did?
Yes.
Okay.
So the coach laughs and tells Lynch, "Welcome to the dark side." All right. Oh my God. Literally like 15 background catches all happened here. Okay. Couple things. Let's first talk about the movie and the credits. First and foremost, this movie is written and directed by Ken Adelberg. That's where he's been for the majority of season 3. Why we haven't seen him. He was writing and directing all that violence. Okay.
I mean, I'm just blown away that he's back.
So, we have a cast list filled with jokes and Easter eggs, of course, with a lot of the animators' names added to the list. The Messiah is played by Aya Fukuda. Aya is the art director. Davio is played by Johnny Depp.
I legitimately thought that said Johnny Depp.
Of course.
Yeah.
just
I thought everything else was a joke, but they just actually put Johnny Depp.
that's the joke.
Yeah.
Pops, another animator, is played by Tanny DeVito. Mr. Wong is played by Tom Cruise.
You mean Dr. Wrong?
Oh, Dr. Wrong. I see that. Oh, we do have a Damon Wong reference a little bit later. Yeah, Dr. Wrong is Tom Cruise. Agent Katie Terwilliger is Penelope Cruz.
I know it's supposed to be Penelope Cruz, but I don't
Yeah.
understand Coos.
I think they were just doing Cruz instead of Cruz for Tom and Penelope.
Oh, okay.
Another one we see is Detective Phil Berger is played by Queefer Sutherland.
Yep, there's a little flash there.
And Kim O'Neill is played by herself. One of the last names you can see is a nude stunt double by David San Angelo.
Did you see one of the characters' names? Booger Sugar or Sugar Booger?
Yes, I did see that, which is like
code
a...
for cocaine.
Yep,
Drew Scarrymore.
yep. Okay,
Vin Weasel.
now, this part that we're talking about.
I know.
This
I
is
saw
a
it.
Second, yeah.
quick end credit catch. We talked about this briefly in Bad Influences. When at the end they do the montage of fat movies, they do a Fat Fight Club spoof. So we talked about this again in the Fight Club reference because in the actual movie Fight Club, there is allegedly a one-frame picture of Brad Pitt's penis. It has to do with the plot of the movie where he splices this into kids' movies as a subliminal thing. They do it in this movie. There is a one-frame shot of it's the guy in the hot dog costume that actually showed Starboy and the Captain of Outer Space around the hot dog factory. There is a one-frame flash of him. Can you show it to David?
Oh, yep. Here you go.
Just a quick flash of him. It's a one frame. It's kind of a reference to like the Fight Club. So we had that. Now, one final catch for this scene. Remember when we put a pin into some... Oh, Dr. Wong's Disco Death Squad? Philip Julie Andrews. Remember that name?
Yes. Oh my God. Someone, because I made a Philip Jeffries joke.
Why do you remember Philip Julie Andrews? Could it be because I will be interviewing him soon.
Oh yeah.
Exciting.
I made a Philip Jeffries joke. Philip Andrews.
So then, yeah, and then we have the nude stunt double. So let's keep it here for 1 second, right? We put a pin in something earlier this episode about some
Sexual
tension. Now, the final catch of this scene, when McGurk welcomes Lynch to the dark side, Lynch puts his hand in McGurk's bucket of, quote, poop corn.
Oh no!
I don't
We
get it.
see for a very split second, Lynch makes a face that would almost insinuate that Coach McGurk has cut a hole in the bottom of his popcorn.
Oh, arms around him.
Oh yeah.
Arms around.
This is just. I wish I knew. Screenshot later.
There it is.
McGurk is looking to the side, putting some popcorn in his mouth, and Lynch reached into the popcorn bowl and I think has found something that he did not expect to find.
And McGurk is like, yeah, like he's pretending like he's not noticing it. Oh my god.
Yep. They're in love, guys.
How many fucking background catches can you throw into a 40-second scene? Not even. It's like this much of my notes. That's seriously like, okay, let's start with the credits. All the animators, the references. I mean, just so much going on in just that one scene.
I don't know what the context was. I know I think we've been saying that they knew going into this season it was going to be their last one.
Yeah.
So I think that's the mindset you have to come at it from.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, all right, balls to the wall, watch this.
So we now have the final scene, which is back inside the movie with Jason's character rattling off a lot of opinions.
I also wanted to say real quick, the beard and the hair have really good, like, artistic work to it. And it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of like the contrast between the squiggle vision in the first episode
God, yeah.
and look at like the shading in the
Yeah.
beard.
Melissa's wig like has a style to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pocket watch. And
Yeah.
The jacket.
The shoulder
vest.
pads.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The diploma.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
So some of Jason's opinions. Picasso was the worst painter I ever saw in my life. And in my opinion, Tango and Cash was the best buddy cop picture ever. And in my opinion. So Melissa is very impressed and asks the doctor how he cured him. The doctor explains he simply told him that his opinion matters. Melissa says she told him that too, but it didn't work. Brendan says he did the same thing, but then told him a couple more times. And that's when we see Jason's character, who is in a straitjacket, hooked up to a bunch of equipment, and has a scar on his head, which I think is insinuating a lobotomy.
Yeah.
Over the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting vibes of one clue of the
Oh,
especially
oh
the
my-
Jack Nicholson hair.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
noticed that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Melissa says to the doctor, that's why you get paid the big bucks. And that's when the doctor says, speaking of bucks, how do you like elk? And takes off his mask to reveal that he's actually an elk.
Those eyes stare through you.
Yeah. And how did he take he like had a Brendan mask made
Yeah.
for this scene?
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of when they did a horror movie intro where Melissa takes her face off.
Yes.
Took her face off.
I just like how they have these insane like physical effects like with the mask and stuff while having a cardboard window in the background.
Yeah.
Like when you don't know how to do something, you'll just do it. You don't know that it can't be done.
It's true.
Well, once the elk reveal happens, Melissa says this is the worst ending ever. And that's when Jason says, in his opinion, this is the worst movie ever. And Brendan asks how they should end it. Well, the answer should have been, it's time to pay the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Melissa says, just shut off the camera. Well, we see the credits roll, but we hear Jason saying, well, that didn't work. It's still rolling. Then he asks, who wants a wine cooler? And Melissa asks where he got those. And Jason simply replies, your dad.
I was holding on to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. We have one more quick little audio scene of of Lynch looking through, what was it, like Principal Monthly or something.
Yeah.
He's like, where is it? Where is it? Where was it? He's like, and it should be the interim Mr. Lunch. But still very happy he made it into Principal Weekly.
I'm on the cover of a magazine.
And that, friends, is the end of Season 4, Episode 1. Everyone's entitled to my opinion.
Great episode.
Yeah, a really, really fun episode.
Starting season 4 off solid.
With a bang.
So traditionally, this is where we would give Jason a grade.
Yes. Traditionally. But who cares about those?
What?
I'm joking. Who cares about tradition? Yeah, okay, let me just get into this. So Jason, this entire episode, I think from the beginning of the episode, we see him and he's just got the shoulder pads. He's looking like Tony Soprano, and he's in character. And he doesn't break character for a while, and he's playing it. Maybe it's just the cinematic black bars, who knows. But I felt like really drawn into the scene of just like, oh, I just don't have an opinion. Maybe it's because I remember that House episode where she couldn't answer a question, and House just kept asking her questions. That was her disease. She couldn't answer a question. Anyway, but Jason, the only thing that Jason did throughout this episode was he scratched his ass, and I was like, okay, I just wish... I don't know. I wish your ass wasn't itchy, but I know you can't control that, Jason. I'll give you that. But then we're out where Melissa's talking, and they're in the darkness, and she's freaking out. And he's like, oh, there's a head. Light! I meant a headlight next to a body!
And he even says, a dead body!
It just harkened back to when I used to be in Kentucky, and my friends were scared of the dark. I'm like, no, let's walk into the dark. Come on. And then in a second, we're like far away from the light. I'll just be like, hi, guys. What's going on? What's over there? What is it? Yeah. So I was just laughing so hard. And I honestly, throughout the episode, I think this is the hardest I've laughed at Jason and actually enjoyed his presence.
Yeah, between the elk stuff and the
And the dad buying alcohol stuff.
Yeah, he was really
was on it.
sharp. Yeah, he was on it. Like,
So A+.
Let's go.
That's 2 A+ for Jason.
So, well, the first time I gave him an A+ was because, like, you got to support his message. But
Yeah,
here
of
I was like,
course.
hey, it's funny.
Yeah.
You do that. I do that.
He's
It's
very
funny.
likable this episode.
He really
absolutely.
was.
I appreciate you not going to the bathroom for dramatic suspense.
Yeah, it's too hot for that shit, dude. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The first time I literally, like, I wasn't doing it for, it was just like, I literally have to pee or else I'm going to burst.
See, in my mind, I was like, he had this plan from day one. He's like, if I ever give Jason an A+, I'm going to say I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Listen, I will not dispute that I'm a drama queen, but I could not hold it in any longer. I was so but yes, Jason got an A+. This is what I'm talking about. I want Jason to make me laugh, yes, but also want me to like him.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything like terrible this episode. He came to the movie with the script. He knew his lines. He stayed in character. He made his opinion known. When he was he was with Melissa, he didn't have to, attack Brendan for his opinions to be on Melissa's side. He didn't have to buddy up with her. He didn't have to be like, oh, hey, Melissa, what's going on? He's No, he's just being himself and terrorizing her, and I love that.
Hell yeah. Very good grade.
Great.
All right, now we need to do episode grades. Who wants to go first? Or shall I? Okay, I will. I'm gonna keep it 100p short and sweet. When we went into this episode, I was like, this is an easy A+ episode.
Mm-hmm.
When I was breaking down the episode and I saw Lynch hang upside down and out of his pockets fell several items that probably would have fell out of my pockets as well, I was like, that's it. I gotta bump it. This is an S-tier episode for me.
Damn,
Great way to start the season. I always brag about how season 3 is my favorite, but as we're getting into season 4 and I'm starting to kind of look at the episodes coming, we're in for a treat. I'm very excited, and this episode kicked it off, I think, very, very well.
Nice.
So, S from me.
Love it.
Man, how many is that at this point?
100.
Yeah, cool.
It's my podcast. I can do that if I want to.
There's only 52 episodes, but there's been 100 S-tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it twice sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, next episode grade. Who shall go next?
I'll go.
Adele.
Season 4 is fucking knocking it out of the park already with episode 1. Just with the detail alone, the animation is, you wouldn't think that they would bump it up, but they did. I'm gonna give it A+.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good and fair and valid grade.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And
Right.
I will go next. Probably the easiest A+ that came from this, and it's not even just because of how many things I was just enjoying, like the fact that everything, like start to finish, it was brought up, and then it had a payoff. It was a very good episode, like written wise, narratively. That there was the problem. Mr. Lynch has become the principal. How is this going to affect his relationship? It affected the whole time. He even had to contemplate on it, and then it paid off in the end. And then everything with the movie critic, like the narratively great, but what gave this episode the edge for me, at least for season 4, the start, is that the animators come from the beginning of this show where they had no idea how the software worked, and have just like over the seasons gotten better, honed their craft, and now they're just every single detail matters. And that's what I really love about season 4, at least from what I see it right here. It's just every detail matters, and I'm so excited for it. A+. We'll see what happens when we get to the tier list.
Very fair, good grade. All right, that just leaves one person.
And I can do one, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
All right, well, initially I was going to say A+, and then Timmy said S tier, and I didn't know you could do that, so I'm going to go with S tier.
Hell yeah, dude.
I was going to make a joke, too, like a movie critic was like, I was going to give it S tier, but they never explained why Brendan's mom was calling him in the first place. So knock it down to A+.
So fair.
Answer all the questions, and then we'll talk.
Don't leave me wanting more.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great episode.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
genuinely. And I'm so glad we got to do it with you as a guest, David. Seriously.
I did want to add, too, just like Marcin was saying, like, there were all these things happening, but there was just this great showcase of everything that makes the show good. The interactions with the kids, McGurk interacting with other people, and then like the love of movies.
Absolutely,
and it kind
yes.
of really, I think that's why I wanted to give it A+, if not S tier. Or I'm sticking with the S tier, but like it really showcases what makes this show so good. Kind of in like it's a great episode to show people that like there's like even like a great jumping on point of like, hey, here's like a later episode that I think you'd really like. You
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a really good episode. And we can see, too, where I talked about this with Steve Rogan about, yeah, there was a point when Adult Swim is like, hey, we get it. This show is about kids. But the stuff that we're putting out is, have you seen it? Like, you can be a little more edgy. You can be. So I think that's why we have like the tow truck Tina in this episode, is because they're like, all right, we can do, let's give McGurk a little bit of eye candy, and as long as it's not aimed towards children, I am cool with it.
And there's also, like you said, this like kind of like beneath the surface there's so many hidden things here.
Yes.
It really completes this package.
I think
for
so.
this episode. And that's why I like when you said S tier. Well, you can go higher than A+. S tier it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's actually an S- and an S+.
I have done that, yeah.
That defeats the whole purpose of the S tier.
Get this man on this podcast more.
The whole point of the A-, A+, and then S, so you don't have to keep like. You might as well make a super like platinum S tier.
Yes, that was the S+. That was the S+.
You know, I'm gonna put a P in there for penis that Lynch touched in the fucking bucket of popcorn.
Oh.
It completed the package, as Davey says.
God, I ship them hard now.
Yeah.
I didn't before, but now I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, they are very chaotic couple, but yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Oh, what a good episode, and what a great start to season 4.
I mean, I just the last two details I wanted to add was just the way that they are poking fun at their critics.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
episode, where they're just like, it's a fucking cartoon. And you know who they're saying it to? Us.
Yeah.
They're saying,
100%.
fuck you.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fuck us.
Yeah. The comedy was funny, and the suspense was suspenseful. Good stuff. Anything else we would like to add for this episode?
I'm excited for season 4.
Me too. Very much so.
It's time to go to the final season.
I thought you were going to say RHM Pod.
We do not
but-
own that.
Yeah, I was gonna. Then we're gonna have to pay for it, and that's the thing. Just fucking. Why do I have to advertise? Why can't you guys find me?
And speaking of finding us, you found us. We're in season 4. We have a new logo. We have a lo-fi version of our theme song. We are in it, kids. We are in season 4.
Yep. Balls deep.
Hell yeah. Is there anything? I've got nothing that we want to plug or promote, or are we? All right, I think we're just going to leave it at that. Which earworm from this episode shall we leave it on? You didn't think I'd be Scottish, did ya?
It was Irish.
Irish.
Oh, okay. I'm going to edit that.
So that's why he's the obsessed one.
Here's the thing. I actually thought part of the joke was when he said a boot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Irish. I actually thought that was the joke where they mixed the Scottish and the Irish together.
Yeah.
I was just trying not to make a tow truck Tina episode. I think she was there for like 10 seconds. She's probably going to be my favorite character of the season.
Typical man.
Yeah, that's me.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Such as
Kill me! Kill me!
You think I'm going to kill you before I kill myself?
Jump up in a clip together! Woo!
Now we're talking.
That's going to do it for this episode of Rewatching Home Movies. Join us next week for Season 4, Episode 2, Camp. Thanks again to David, last name redacted, for being our guest. Thanks to Nick for the refresh of our logo, and Chris Bongat for the lo-fi version of our theme song. If you liked what you heard, you can check out our Linktree at linktree/RHMPod. There, you can support us on TipJar. Send us an email to request free stickers, or leave us a 5-star review. I will read 5-star reviews on the podcast, like this one from animator Steve Rogan. Best podcast ever. Thanks for the interview, Tim. You were really cute during it. Seriously, this has been a great way to deep dive into home movies. Creative Corner is one of my favorite parts. Thank you, Steve, for that 5-star review. On behalf of myself, Tim, and my co-host Marcin, and Adele, thank you for rewatching home movies with us. We'll see you next week. Bye.